The college baseball experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can sign up today at Underdog Fantasy using promo code TCE SGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. And we're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cash back rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and use the promo code SGPN. And welcome back into the return of the college baseball experience. What's going on, everybody? My name is Noah Bieniek, a.k.a. 77, and I'm joined by Johnny Venezia, a.k.a. JVTV. What's going on, Mr. Television?
Yo, what's good, bro? Been a little bit of hiatus. You're worrying about the fucking NCAA tournament. I mean, it's good, but it's not college baseball. Let's call it what it is. I know I was at Nashville. It was awesome versus A&M. A&M looked like shit, but I did see a lava bomb in person. Picked up some Vandy Boys swag from the bookstore.
The best swag in the game.
It's a racket, dude. I mean, honestly, I know what I'm going to do for my future endeavors in business. I'm gonna just go to every big university and take a piece of the bookstore because that thing is a cash cow, the amount of apparel and shit that they sell. But you know what, Noah? You want to hear something funny that I started doing last night?
Shoot.
I'm disgusted with myself. It's disgusting, but I like this shit for some reason. Sort of watching Temptation Island. Awful people, by the way, but it's so stupid, but I kind of like it.
What show is that? Is that the one that had the what's his name? What was the meme like a month ago? Is that
Montoya?
Yeah, Montoya.
Yeah, but this is the Netflix like American version.
Okay.
It's like it's kind of the same thing, but it's it's not. Right. It's so stupid, but I like stupid TV.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. I had a little bit of a hiatus. I was still giving out picks, but not nearly as like locked in as I will be from April to mid-June, late June. We're back on the saddle. We did great numbers. We lean into college basketball the entire 2 weeks. That's the best time of the year for the channel. We don't just mix up anything else in there. But we're back and we're ready to dive in head first and lead the charge when it comes to gambling content in the game of college baseball as this thing continues to grow. And this is, I think, one of the best platforms and two of the best in the game at doing that, Johnny. I really do believe that. We can't waste any time, though, because you, like I mentioned, one of the best in the game. You have VSiN Hit coming up at 8 Eastern for those that are looking forward to that. And then you're also doing your show. And then speaking of March Madness, we've got a Final Four show later on tonight. So game one on the docket that we're going to talk about today is South Carolina and Mississippi State. This is one of the games that I kind of circled as, hey, we don't have betting odds yet, so don't rip on us. Like I said, we're kind of in a schedule pinch. We had to get this one out ASAP. South Carolina's throwing Jake McCoy. Mississippi State throwing Pico Khan. I think this one's going to be in Mississippi State's favor. They are the home team. I would expect this anywhere in the ballpark of like a minus 140, minus 165 area. Johnny, Jake McCoy has been rough this season. 2-3, 6.59 ERA, 48 strikeouts, 15 walks, and 28.2 innings. Pico Khan's been excellent, 4-1 with a 2.66 ERA, 61 strikeouts, just 7 walks, in 40.2 innings. It's hard for me to not take the Bulldogs at home. Both of these teams come in with rough-looking SEC conference records. I think the Bulldogs, though, are due for a good weekend because I thought they played well against LSU, and I think they're going to start it off on the Friday win, roughing up McCoy a little bit. Johnny?
Yeah, I agree. So LSU hosted Mississippi State last weekend, and the Bulldogs opted to go with something that we see frequently from Power 5 teams, especially SEC and ACC teams, where a coach will save his ace for Friday, even though the series starts on Thursday. Wants to keep him on regular rest, so they'll bump a different guy up on Thursday. Now, that's what Mississippi State did. So LSU was able to erase I think a 5-run deficit on Thursday against Evan Sierre. And then what ended up happening was Pico Khan went Friday. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, we got to take a piece. Mississippi State, not only on the run line, which did hit, but the money line was plus 300. There were 3-1 or bigger.
Too.
And we were on it. And we were talking about it. I'm like, Pico Cone getting 3-1 as a dog in a sport as volatile as college baseball is ridiculous. And honestly, it almost happened. He made a couple mistakes, but their offense is so bad. And Anthony Ianson, I think he's solid. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have no problems with Ianson, but to be honest, like, that is definitely a matchup where Mississippi State should have scored some runs. They had a lot of opportunity. He left ducks on the pond all night. That's what they do. That's what they did last year. That's why I gave up on Mississippi State, who was a big ticket futures of mine last year. Had a king's ransom on them. Mississippi State, anyhow, they're at home in the Dude. This is a great ballpark. This is a huge home field advantage. And South Carolina is nothing special, man. I think a lot of us expected South Carolina to be not in a rebuilding year, but sort of
bottom of the pack in the SEC-ish.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact is, like, the pitching for South Carolina is nothing special. McCoy was good to start the year, but he's been floundering. And I think in a situation when you have Pico Khan at home, the way he's been, how great he's been, you really only need 3 runs to have I would say, an 80% chance or better for them to get the win. So I think Mississippi State's worth a lay, minus 175 or smaller. You start getting into 190 territory, I don't care how good the pitching is. The hitting does concern me, but I think Mississippi State here on a Friday night.
Love it. Kansas and UCF, Johnny. Hate to admit it, but I think our Big 12 dark horse died in Cincinnati, Ohio last weekend. Tough weekend for the Knights there. And speaking of Big 12 dark horses, Kansas gets a sweep of Oklahoma State. Is there a possible letdown weekend in a tough travel spot going from UCF or going from Lawrence, Kansas down to Orlando, one of the longer travel spots in the Big 12? TBA for Kansas. They've done this all year for whatever reason, but they have Dom Vagley. He threw last Friday. I would assume that he's going to go on normal rest here once again. And on the season, it's a 5.36 ERA, 47 strikeouts, just 14 walks, 4-2 record there. And UCF is going to go with Camden Wicker. He's a Wofford transfer. This is his first start of the year. He's only thrown 6.2 innings, 11 strikeouts, 2 walks in the midweek appearances there. For me, I have a tough time getting behind the Knights on Friday when Vagley's probably looming in that opening week or opening day series appearance. But gosh, I can't talk. I like Kansas in game 1. UCF, I think, could be live in games 2 and 3 when they have Stagliano and Wiley Hartley going in games 2 and 3. So that would be my handicap of the series, my Friday pick. Anything that you'd like to add on this one, Johnny?
Yeah, so I think, preseason show we had Kansas and UCF were the 2 dark horses that I think we talked about, both of us respectively. And obviously the Big 12 is still up in the air. It's not the SEC right now. So while it looks like, UCF is running out of early gas a little bit, there's still a lot of time left, but I understand the sentiment. This is one where we definitely need lines, because the issue now is you're dealing with an obvious pitching advantage with Kansas and Dom Vagley, who's been very good these last few weeks. I mean, he got bombed at Arizona State, but you know how my Sun Devils roll. That team can put a hurting on you. But other than that, I mean, he's been really good his last 4 starts, the 3 of his last 4 starts, I should say. So what I would say is lines are important here. I think if you're getting Dom Vagley and Kansas at 180, that's probably the tipping point for me. And you got Wicker going, who hasn't really thrown. I'd be curious to see what this total is, because if we're getting a total that's in, I would say, the 11.5 range, then maybe we look to an over here, because I think Kansas might be able to score on a guy that doesn't have a lot of experience. And, listen, UCF, if they're going to go with a lot of arms on Friday to try and piece this thing together, then that's going to put them in a vulnerable position on Saturday and Sunday, where they're going to have to rely on their starters to go extra depth. So I think we could be looking at a potential over here on Friday as well. But this is lines depending, but no lines, just straight pick, going old-fashioned style, pre-betting. I think Kansas is probably the better way to go here.
Yeah, I like that overlook that you threw out there too. We're gonna get into the
bro.
Yeah,
Noah Darling is he's a big Kansas guy.
I know.
Listen, man, they showed a lot of heart last year, a lot of fight. They weren't very good, but you could tell they're scrappy, they're competitive. This year, they're kind of taking that next step. We're not just scrappy. We don't just fight. We can win games. We can be a number 2 in a region that's up in the air and surprise some people and make it to a super for sure.
Yeah, we're going to get to the meat of our show here in just a second, but I'm going to do my best Jim Nantz impression and say, hello, friends. Augusta is right around the corner, and SGPN is back with Splash Sports for a big contest. You can win up to $30,000 in prizes, and it's only a $25 entry fee. Get in today at splashsports.com/SGPN. That is splashsports.com/SGPN. Tune into the Golf Gambling Podcast, the Steffi Smalls Show, and Bottom Line Bombs for all of your Masters picks. And the college baseball experience is also brought to you by SeatGeek, one of the best ticketing apps out there. Over 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, over 28 million downloads. SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. They are our go-to. Colby has used this time and time again. Notice that they have offered some of the best discounts out there. We've got the Final Four going on. We've got Frozen Four going on. We've got plenty of college baseball, plenty of MLB to go over and get your tickets. But it's not just sports. It's concerts, movies, any type of live event that you are excited to attend. Go over to SeatGeek. Use the promo code SGPN10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Look for those green dots. Green means good. Red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. 10% off your next set of tickets over at SeatGeek using code SGPN. That is 10% off any tickets with promo code SGPN10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. And Sports Gambling Podcast Network is also brought to you by Edge Boost. We've partnered up with Edge Boost. It's the premier Visa debit card for bettors. Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 in cashback rewards per month for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money is safe, so because the card is FDIC insured. The best part is that there are no credit checks and it's completely free. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And lastly, we are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is the place to bet every sport, including crown college basketball games. Plus, props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations. It's easy to deposit and using lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head over to mybookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN for your 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That is mybookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. And we're back here on the college baseball experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, joined alongside Johnny Venezia. And Johnny, we're getting into what was 1A and 1B. It was probably 1B for preseason series of the year. And because Texas A&M has fallen off so bad, now 1A, which was Texas A&M and Texas, and 1B, Texas A&M against Tennessee, no longer are 1A and 1B when it comes to series of the year on paper. And it's easy to see because we do have lines or betting odds for like 6 series Friday games anyways. And A&M is a plus 240 money line dog against Tennessee, minus 330. We're still going to throw it down there because these are 2 of the best arms in the SEC going up against each other. Ryan Prager of A&M, Liam Doyle of Tennessee. Prager coming off a rough start against Kentucky last weekend. Possible bounce back outing for the lefty up against the team that won the national championship against the Aggies last year. He went well against the Vols. Can he lead the Aggies to spur up an upset against Liam Doyle, one of the buzziest names for the 2025 MLB draft?
I wish. No, it's over. It's done. They're done. Stick a fork in them. A&M's got no juice, bro. They got no heart. I think, honestly, you've heard this expression before, but the fish stinks from the head down. There's plenty of talent on A&M, and whether you believe that they should be undefeated or the best team constructed since 2022 Tennessee is not relevant. The fact is, everybody should be agreeing that they have enough talent to be at bare minimum, a 500 ball club in SEC play. 4-4 right now. Be like, all right, like they're off to a slow start. They're going to be able to get it back. They're going to be playing a lot better. I don't see it, man. I mean, we talked about this off air. The 1 week their hitting decided to actually show up, their pitching was a complete disaster. And otherwise, when their pitching is dominant, their hitting can't do shit. And let's be honest with ourselves. While A&M's hitting took a big step forward last weekend against that rat program, Kentucky, they left a ton of ducks on the pond. They had a lot of opportunities to really either put down the hammer or put a dent into one of the deficits that they put themselves into. So it wasn't a foolproof offensive showing. There was definitely a lot of stuff that they needed to work out still. It was just an improvement on what it has been. But I mean, now you're not only going to play Tennessee, you have to go to Knoxville, a place where the ball flies out. And yeah, it might work in their advantage, but the truth is their approach is so bad right now that all they do is strike out. They don't put the ball in play in situational baseball. And believe me, I want to believe in A&M. I had so much stock in them from the preseason for the College World Series to win the SEC. Like, I want it for them. I really do. But there's a certain point where I'm like, okay, I'm done. You can't even beat Kentucky. Fucking Kentucky. You can't even beat them at home in like a we need to win situation. And I thought the Friday night comeback down 6 runs was like, all right, this is the spark that we finally got it. No, it wasn't. It doesn't make sense. And Noah, like in terms of a weekend bet, I think Liam Doyle's a stud, but I think you know that while it's very impressive what he's doing, the guy that he showed at Tennessee isn't necessarily reflective of the pitcher he is. I mean, this is a guy that had strikeout stuff at Coastal Carolina and Ole Miss, but he was nowhere near this version. And it's a little bit more skewed than Tennessee just polished him up like Chase Burns got polished up at Wake Forest. It's not the same thing. And like Liam Doyle's allowed 11 earned runs his last 2 starts. Yeah. So it is still a winnable matchup. And I want to take A&M at plus 240. 240 with Ryan Prager going. I want to, but I can't because they're going to do something that just ruins the game at the end. That's what they do. And Tennessee, maybe the best coach in college baseball, and Tony V, he finds ways to win. He's a winner. He is the best head coach in the sport. He finds ways to win, and he knows how to get his guys prepared mentally, physically, intellectually, all of that. So I wish A&M well, brother. I do, but I think Tennessee's probably going to be heading for a sweep.
You talked about it. The strikeouts have been a big issue for Texas A&M. And also with runners in scoring position, this team has been brutal. Tennessee coming into the weekend, number 1 team in the country in strikeout percentage, top 5 in walk percentage. They're going to get a lot of swing and misses, and they're going to pepper the zone. And that's just a tough recipe for an A&M team that's looking to fix their offensive woes. I do love that this is basically a top 10 pitching staff. I want to see them. I think they have the ability to take a game if it's low scoring, but if you got to keep that Tennessee lineup down. This is also not only is it a top 5 pitching staff, it's a top 5 lineup, and they replaced a lot of pieces from that World Series team. It's not as easy as it seems to just, okay, let's just take that College World Series scouting report and throw it to this week against the Vols for Michael Early. It's just not. There's a bunch of new names in this lineup, and they're still raking. So, yeah,
they don't even have Gavin Killen back yet. They're doing all this last couple weeks on Gavin Killen. I mean, hopefully he's back. So I have a little golden spikes ticket on him, hoping he's back this week. I think he pinch hit last week, so maybe. So yeah. It doesn't get any easier, man. It's like it is the complete opposite time to get right. Yeah. It is the worst time to get right.
Yeah. I have the Aggies being competitive, but I don't see them winning the series. The only game that I could really even put myself behind and possibly predict and bet if they're this plus 240 price is Sunday when you got a Miles Patton going up against Tennessee. But then again, he's a pitch contact pitcher, and Tennessee hits bombs. So they just hit the ball hard. That's not necessarily the greatest matchup either. But we got to keep rolling. I might do? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I apologize to keep interrupting you. Just for shits and gigs. You know what I might do? So Tennessee is a 330 favorite, right? So what I might do, just for fun, they're probably going to be a 3.5 run line favorite, possibly 2.5, but more likely 3.5. I think I might alternate take like Tennessee minus 5.5 runs in a couple of these games. I think I'm just going to take big alt run line totals. Texas A&M is not going to be competitive, dude. I wish they are, but they're probably going to lose like 10-0 in 2 of the 3 games.
I think
Friday, Saturday they're going to get bombed, dude.
I have them being competitive. I have a little bit of faith because of what I saw last weekend. At least the lineup picked up their pitchers when the pitchers did not come through.
That was against Kentucky, though.
I know.
Kentucky. And
I'm aware.
It's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen.
The next game that we, again, don't have betting odds for a lot of these. We had to go early. Johnny's got to get out of here in a half hour. Alex Valentin and Texas State head down to the Teague to play Louisiana, and Chase Morgan is on the mound for the Raging Cajuns. This is an outstanding matchup between two programs that are in the middle of the pack in Sun Belt, but these two pitchers have been nails so far this season. Valentin threw down the horns down during the midweek, closing out the horns. He's 4-1 on the year, 3.79 ERA. 31 strikeouts, 20 walks, and 35.2 innings. And then Chase Morgan on the year in 5 starts has a 2.52 ERA, 2-1 record, 30 strikeouts, just 7 walks in 25 innings. How do you dice up the two teams here, Johnny?
I mean, Texas State, I saw maybe it was 11.7. Texas State, little Tristan Stivers reminiscence from a few years ago with, in the regional against Stanford. Texas State hasn't really been that good for a few years, since 2022, I would say. They've been competitive here and there, but, they've probably shown the most fight that they have in 3 years. And I think, realistically, they're an interesting team. But, dude, not taking Chase Morgan at home on a Friday night it's criminal. It is criminal. This kid is unbelievable. I can't name more than maybe 1 or 2 better mid-major pitchers in college baseball than Chase Morgan. I mean, this kid is a star. This kid would be a legitimate weekend rotation guy on pretty much any SEC or ACC staff. In a lot of cases, I think he might be the Friday night guy. So I think with Chase Morgan, back in the mix here, I know he missed a couple weeks, I think, with an undisclosed injury. You might know.
I think he missed one
or 2
against Nebraska.
Yeah, I know he missed Nebraska. I didn't know if he missed the following week, or maybe they pushed him to Saturday. ULL's lines haven't really been out as consistently as some of these other teams.
Correct.
But in any case, dude, Morgan, 30 Ks, 7 walks, 25 innings. 2.52 ERA. Give me ULL.
I like the under for what it's worth. Both of these offenses below par. And also, I think both of these pitchers are pretty dang good studs. So, yeah, we'll see whether or not they're betting odds there. But that was a game that I 100% wanted to throw into our lineup of games that we were talking about today. Let's talk about the Iron Bowl on the Diamond. How about that? We've got Alabama heading down to the Plains to take on Auburn. Zane Adams on the mound for Alabama, and Samuel Dutton is throwing for Auburn. On the year, Adams in 7 starts is 3-0 with a 3.67 ERA, 36 strikeouts, 13 walks, and 34.1 innings. And Samuel Dutton, the LSU transfer, has made 7 starts this season for the Auburn Tigers. He's 3-2 with a 3.16 ERA, 45 strikeouts, just 8 walks in 37 innings. A lot of people still like this Auburn team. I've not really bought into the Auburn Tigers this season, and they just are coming off of a getting swept by Georgia. Then they lose the midweek game against UAB. I don't love the momentum that Auburn has coming into this series. And Alabama, I think their schedule in the SEC, I guess, has been a little paper tigerish because their big series where they had to prove it was Texas A&M. We see what Texas A&M's kind of turned into this season. So we haven't really seen Bama up against one of those Titans. I believe in Oklahoma, and also I know that there's plenty of talent on A&M. I think Alabama is more for real than Auburn, for what it's worth. If there was a game that I'd give Auburn a shot to win, it is Friday with Samuel Dutton on the mound, because Sunday they don't even really have their starter figured out, and I'm not a huge Cade Fisher fan. So if there's a game that Auburn wins, I think it's Friday. But I like Alabama to not only win the game, I like them to win the series. I would look at overs for multiple games in this one. Johnny, your thoughts on the entire weekend here in this one?
Listen, I can totally understand what you're thinking right here. This is a great matchup. This is a tough matchup. There's a lot of talent in this series this weekend, and I had Auburn on the upset for last Friday night at Georgia. Samuel Dutton went down to Athens, and he looked pretty good. He made 2 mistakes all game. 4 runs on a Friday night is all Georgia scored. Unfortunately, they stranded the fucking bases loaded twice in the first 3 innings against Charlie Goldstein and ended up scoring 1 run, which was disgraceful. Like, that was the game to win. I'm with you in the sense that Auburn still has their kinks to work out, mainly in the back end of the rotation.
Yep.
I think some of the bullpen needs to be figured out as well.
When they get Mason Cook back, I have a lot more faith in the bullpen. But
yeah,
I had them kind of stuttering early, and that's kind of what they've done.
Well, hang on now. Auburn has definitely been one of the bigger and better surprises in the SEC. I think it's fair to say. And, listen, just because you go down and you get swept at Georgia, I mean, they blew the second game of the doubleheader, which was game 3 of the series in ridiculous fashion. But that's a tough series. And yes, they should have won at least 1 game, probably 2. But now you're coming home. They've been a lot better at home. They have kind of like this it factor. It's not to like a championship level necessarily, but it's very competitive, and it's very much like, hey, we can win a region kind of level. And I think Alabama has it too right now. But there's something about Alabama where I just don't know if I believe in their team the same way that I believe in some of these other teams. Granted, I think Bama's pitching staff, at least with Riley Quick in the Saturday role, is a series decider for me. Therefore, I think it's probably better to go with Bama in this series, in a tight series. But I like Auburn game 1 at home on a Friday night. They need a win. They need to bounce back. Dutton is their best chance to get one. I think Saturday is going to be a big Bama day. What I'm hoping for is Auburn takes game 1, and then the line is a little bit more even keel with Riley Quick going against Keith Fisher, and then we hammer Bama in game 2.
You know for sure Riley Quick starting? Because that was the one uncertainty with Bama.
That's what it said in the SEC notes.
Okay.
There was I will confirm that real quick.
Because I know there was an injury scare with him a week or 2 ago.
He had a something about a blister on his finger.
Blood blister.
Yeah, that's a tough one when it comes to pitching. Let me confirm that real quick. Yeah. Okay. It's Riley Quick against Kate Fisher, and then game 3 they've Auburn's usually been going with Christian Chatterton, who's been okay, and Bobby Alcock's been kind of the same, but Alabama's been a little bit more consistent.
Over in that game 3.
Definitely.
So I'm on Bama. You're on Auburn game 1 and Bama series, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'd lean Bama series. Right. Real quick, side note, did you see, because like how we every week we talk about Sunday overs. That's like the blind overs or the trend. Yeah. And like they were doing really well like the first 5 weeks or 4 of the first 5 weeks. And it was blind. Last Sunday, I shit you not, there had to be more than like 5, 6, or 7 games that had totals that were like 17 or bigger. The Dallas Baptist Sunday total was settled at 22.5. I don't even think they scored 10 runs total. Like It was nuts. So like maybe in a sense here for these Sunday games, a lot of them, like if you see some of these totals that are like 17, 18 and the series haven't been like that high scoring, we might have to like get the books to start coming down a little bit and lowering expectations. And now with how big these lines are and these totals are, it's worth it to take a shot on some of these unders, because I don't care how bad these pitchers are, how good these offenses are, it's still hard to score 18 runs in a baseball game.
That's totally fair. Hey Johnny, I don't even know if I should mention it on the show, but there is a series coming up at the end of the docket that we're going to talk about where they flipped their Friday starter to Sunday. So there's an opportunity. Yes. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a little bit. Right now, though, the college baseball experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. It's time for Underdog Fantasy. It's the best time of the year for it because there are plenty of ways to win, plenty of sports over there that you can get down on. You can win up to 100x your entry. Sign up today at Underdog Fantasy with promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. And the college baseball experience is also brought to you by Rhythm. They are your home for AI-backed picks and props, and Rhythm now is live for Major League Baseball. Plus, they have models for NBA and golf, so plenty of picks for you to get your sweat on. Build your own model. It's super simple, very easy. Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And we're back here on the college baseball experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, joined alongside Johnny Venezia, and we're going to speed run. We have to. The last six or so series that we're going to talk about here on today's episode. Georgia, Texas, 2 top 5 teams in the country right now. Georgia is starting Charlie Goldstein. Texas is trotting out Jared Spencer. Johnny had mentioned it just last on the last series that we talked about with Goldstein. He's a guy that, has been one of the better arms for Georgia, more steady, but he gets into quite a bit of trouble on a game-to-game basis when it comes to runners on the base paths. They were kind of getting him loose opening games, and then now it seems like he is good to go and stretched out for some of these starts down the back half of down the back stretch here in SEC play. He's thrown 13 innings. He's got a 6.92 ERA, 16 strikeouts, 12 walks, 10 earned runs in those 13 innings. And Texas is going with Jared Spencer. This is a guy that transferred in from Indiana State, turned into their Friday night starter, and he's been excellent. 3-1, 3.62 ERA, 47 strikeouts, 16 walks, and 37.1 innings. This is a game, Johnny. It's a what the fuck line. It's a wrong team favored. Give me Texas at home in game 1 of the series with Jared Spencer on the bump. I think he goes 6 or 7 strong, and they get into that Georgia bullpen that has been pretty questionable so far this season. I like the Longhorns in this game and in this series.
Same here. Georgia and Texas were 2 teams that I talked about on my RotoWire column for my Future Wednesday, 2 teams that I highlighted. Both were preseason Omaha picks. I think they both have a lot of juice. I think Georgia's pitching has gotten very lucky these last couple weeks. I don't think they've turned a corner miraculously, that they're all of a sudden, hey, now our pitching is really good. I don't think that's the case. I think there's a lot of talent there, but they were very fortunate to come away unscathed against Auburn when they very well should have. Florida is a complete mess, so the week before, I don't really take that much stock into it. You're going to Texas. Texas right now is a bona fide top 5 ball club. They lose my son, one of my preseason Golden Spikes portfolio. I'm sick to my stomach. Max Ballou's done for at least the regular season.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Kendall Rogers report was wrong because there was a debating report. But in any case, Texas isn't built on one guy. They're loaded. They're 1 through 9 loaded. Even though Ballou is a huge loss, they still have a lot of talent that can pick up the slack. You got Jared Spencer, who's been a dog this year. You're a home dog, 114. We're in simpatico here. I think Texas takes a series 2-1. And let me tell you something. The emergence of Ruger Riojas as a potential Sunday guy, who is supposed to be one of their key relievers out of the bullpen this year, is a huge development. Furthermore, freshman Dylan Volantis is probably one of the most under the radar weapons in the sport right now with in terms of pitching. This kid's going to be a star for the Texas pitching staff over the next few years. They have a lot of talent in that pitching, and that's what's going to separate them from Georgia this weekend. Texas wins 2-1.
You think Riojas starts game 3?
I don't know, man. I mean, to be honest with you, like, we had so much faith in Cade Bing, or they did, like, coming in from JUCO as a Sunday guy, and his stuff's good. And, who knows? He might be a big factor over the course of the season in the postseason. Yeah. But, like, now you have not just one, but 2 viable Sunday options with Volantis and Rojas. And, like, the way they piggyback them. They have Riojas is a hard-throwing righty, and Dylan
I love
like a Prager type with off-speed, lefty, crossfire. It's really good, dude. So I think they're interchangeable, but I would probably say don't fix what's not broken. Riojas is more likely than not the guy that I would go with.
I liked Riojas out of the pen. That first weekend I was able to see him opening weekend down in Arlington, and he went like 2.1 strong or 3.1 strong, can't remember, but it was good stuff. And I think he's that guy for Schloss. He's the fireman out of the pen. Like, Schloss likes a guy that can give you 2 or 3 and just completely shut it down.
He's Chris Cortez.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Last year. I was just about to say he doesn't have that 99-100 fastball, but he's that Chris Cortez in that role, at least. Just think of that as Ruger Riojas right now, because Cortez had the ability to start games, but they liked him better in the bullpen, and that's kind of what I would predict is their mindset there. We have odds on Wake Forest, Florida State. Let's talk about this, because the Deeks moved Logan Lunsford out of the Friday roll. Luke Schmolt is going to start on Friday. He's a Georgia Tech transfer, sat out last season. He's starting on Friday, and Jamie Arnold now bumps back into that Friday spot. He had missed a weekend. I think it was due to illness, and then he was thrown in a couple of Saturdays in a row. He's back in the Friday roll. The Noles are minus 200. Schmolk has not started a game all season long, but he is a live arm. 30 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 21 innings with a 2.14 ERA. And he's made 11 appearances out of that bullpen. But Arnold hasn't been as sharp lately. For what it's worth, I haven't gotten my own eyes on it. It's just been Florida State games I've missed over the last weekend with all the March Madness going on. He's still been all right. 3.07 ERA in the 29.1 innings, 38 strikeouts, 11 walks. But Miami got to him pretty good. I don't know if that was last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
Three
Johnny,
weeks ago.
3 weeks ago?
It was definitely 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, it had to have been 2 weeks, right? So, Johnny, minus 200. What's your thoughts on value-wise Florida State with their ace on the bump?
This is a tough series, man. Wake Forest really, really turned a lot of heads last week with how bad they played at home against Virginia Tech. And listen, I think we both agree that Virginia Tech's scrappy. They're not champion. Like they're not they're scrappy. They're not championship bound.
We labeled Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech as like long shots in the ACC that could.
Yeah, like Virginia Tech's not the same Virginia Tech team from 3 years ago where like they had a legitimate chance to make a run in Omaha. That's not that team. So the fact that Wake Forest got swept at home, their pitching looked awful.
Yeah.
It's bad, but I'm not surprised by it either. I mean, we talked about Wake Forest and like they just pretty much picked up a ton of rejects from other programs, like solid arms, but they don't have the guy. They don't have a Rhett Lauder. They don't have a Chase Burns. They don't have a Josh Hartle. They have a bunch of guys that are like good, but to be fair, I don't know if I could trust the pitching. Florida State's offense has definitely looked a lot better than I thought it would coming into the season. I think a lot of it has to do with they've had a layup of a schedule so far. They haven't played anybody.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to regress to the mean a little bit. But I also think like Jamie Arnold struggling is going to get back to where it is. I was disappointed last week. I think he's leaving too many pitches elevated. But to be fair, I don't know if I feel comfortable laying 200 against what might be a desperate Wake team. So I might consider throwing Florida State in a parlay, a small parlay at minus 200 because like it's hit or miss for me with Wake right now. You have a kid who like who's not a starter or a legitimate starter coming in now against a hot FSU lineup, but you have a desperate Wake team against Jamie Arnold, who's been struggling. So how could I pick a side and lay 200 with FSU? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm going to go Florida State. I'm going to fade them in this first start of the season. That's typical commandments with me betting college baseball. Johnny, we've got 3 series left. We've got 11, 10 minutes left. 3 minutes a series. The last one's a banger, so we got to get to it. UC Irvine, Oregon State, though. Big series for both teams. Oregon State, one of their few home series in the last 7 weekends of the year here. And UC Irvine, their biggest series of the season. They win this one. They are controlling their own destiny when it comes to being a regional host, top 16 seed at the end of the year. Starting for the Anteaters is Riley Kelly. He's 4-0 with a 2.57 ERA. In 28 innings, he's got 31 strikeouts and 12 walks. And it's Nelson Keljo going for the Beavers. He's 2-0 on the year, a 1.73 ERA, 26 strikeouts, 15 walks in 26 innings. After his first few bugaboo appearances early in the year, first 3 or 4 weekends, he's really limited the walks, and he's gotten so much better because of that. Oregon State, I am going to say that.
Keljo.
What? I like UC Irvine in the series.
I thought you were talking about who's starting.
No, I just mentioned Keljo starting. So.
Sorry. I like Irvine too. I think Oregon State's overrated. They're very top heavy. If the top 5 or 6 guys don't carry the load, it's not going to get done. I mean, they got Arquette, Turley, Caraway, Krieg, and a couple other talented players. But to be fair, man, Irvine is a all hands on deck approach. They'll beat you 5 different ways, and their pitching, starting wise, at least, isn't the most talented. Kelly has been definitely a huge improvement to their starting staff, especially in the Friday role. But they have 3 or 4 guys that they can go to on a Friday to try and close it out. I think Irvine has too many ways to beat you, or Oregon State only has 1 or 2. So Irvine, they're on the road, but getting plus money with, quite frankly, dare I say, maybe a better team, maybe a better overall team, maybe not more talented, but a better overall team. Yeah.
These two are definitely comparable. Irvine was in the Corvallis region last year, regional last year, and they put up a great fight against the Beavers. It should be a great rematch once again this season. Let's move quickly to Georgia Tech Stanford. This is the one that we don't have to spend a ton of time on, but Joey Volchko is starting on Friday for Stanford.
Wow.
Matt Scott is throwing on Sunday for the Trees. Possibly you're under here in this one for what it's worth. Stanford desperately needs a bounce-back series. Georgia Tech loses their first ACC series of the year at home against Clemson. That was a very competitive series from the Yellow Jackets' point of view. They blew out the Tigers in Game 2 there, lost 2 close ones in the bookends. But Stanford got swept against Cal, swept against Virginia, losers of 6 in a row in the ACC here.
Where's the game?
On the farm. So, yeah.
The travel cross country is something that we really like to head towards. Listen, I think Joey Volchko's talented, but he
threw 6 or 7 strong against UVA, and they got to that Stanford bullpen.
Yeah, he's good, but he's talented. He's a guy that's like, we're going to look at him as one of the better arms in a couple of years, but
yeah,
he's so inconsistent. I just think Georgia Tech is so hot right now. The one thing that I would say is probably the travel is why there's an advantage, but this is one where I definitely would need a line to determine. I have a slight lean for Georgia Tech on Friday night. I think it should be Tate McKee, right?
Yeah, Tate McKee against Joey Volchko.
And then series-wise, I think it's Georgia Tech. So it's really like, because it's tough because it's like Matt Scott. We talked about like his inconsistency issues. Like he should be so much better. Yeah. But I think right now, man, you got to ride the hot hand. Georgia Tech's finding ways to win games overall, and Stanford's not.
Their bullpen's solid games too. Yeah.
Georgia Tech, yeah.
Yeah, I like Stanford, though. I'm going to go with the Trees. I'm going to ride or die with my Trees. They are my team. I think that it was just, a rivalry series that they definitely dropped the ball in. And then Virginia, they got hot, and that was a team that had plenty of talent coming into the year. They were competitive in those games. So I think Stanford gets right. They win 2 of 3 against the Buzzers. And then at the buzzer, we got to talk about our matchup in the desert. Your Sun Devils, my Wildcats, going at each other. Our 2 preseason Big 12 picks to win it. Colin McKinney got roughed up by his former team, Baylor, last weekend. Ben Jacobs has found his form for Arizona State. I'm on Arizona. You're on Arizona State. State your case.
Arizona State, man, the Sun Devils were driving me nuts. They were so hot to start the season, then they started fluttering a bit. The pitching, the fucking bullpen, it was a complete disaster. The hitting was not coming up situationally clutch in the late games, but they were stacking up runs early on. Everything has changed, man. Honestly, since Big 12 play started, and I had my reservations about them going on the road to TCU with the way they had been playing the previous couple of weeks. They impressed, man. They put up a fucking 40 bean down at TCU. They're red hot right now, dude. My Sun Devils are looking like the squad that I had predicted coming into the year. Take down TCU. They bash Kansas's brains out. They sweep Utah at Utah. And now, like, this is a big series because, quite frankly, when we're looking at the Big 12, Noah, Kansas State, I think both of us probably predict to fade a little bit and slow down when they've
got a big one against Oklahoma State coming up here.
I think both of us predict that's probably going to happen. So this very well might be who wins the Big 12, Arizona or Arizona State. And it's home to the Sun Devils. Ben Jacobs, man, he's gotten it together. The bullpen's been much better. The offense has been much more clutch. And do you know who's back after missing the last couple of weeks?
Kien Vu.
Their best player. Kien Vu is back. Give me the Sun Devils, man. I think 160 is scary against an Arizona team that is definitely talented and they have a good pitcher going. But we know how Arizona does against lefties. Ben Jacobs, big strikeout stuff. Give me the Devs. Home, 160. Your Honor. No objections.
I am staying with Arizona. Series lost to Baylor. Then they drop a midweek game, the Grand Canyon. All just a look ahead to this big one down in Tempe. Arizona State. Tempe. Why does it say Phoenix here on my screen? It's still Phoenix Municipal Stadium though. So at Arizona State. McKinney bounce back start on Friday. Kramkowski shove game. Smith Bailey goes Smith Bailey stuff. And
I actually have a question for you.
Shoot.
I apologize for keep interrupting you. It is a quality I hate. But is Brennan Summerhill going to play this week? He did not start at the end of the week. Summerhill's out this week?
He's out for like 3 to 4 weeks.
What happened? I missed it.
I don't know. I think it's undisclosed. I don't know the exact.
That's what they do. That's why I don't know. Because I'm like, well, what happened? It's like trying to figure out what the fuck happened with Cam Leiter 16 months later.
It's HIPAA stuff, though. Like sometimes it gets out there, sometimes it doesn't. So
that's a big loss, dude. You're missing your best player.
I know it is. Yeah. They're an experienced lineup, though. I got faith. How many
strikeouts for Mason White this weekend? Set the over/under at 12.5.
12.5. I was gonna have it reasonable. I was gonna go 5. But that's gonna wrap up today's show, dude. You got to get out of here for a VSiN episode. Later on tonight, 10:30 p.m. East. We are doing Final Four picks, both the Crown and the NCAA tournament here coming up Saturday. And then, for Friday, no episode from Johnny and I. I will be at Miami, Ohio, taking on Bowling Green, number 1 and number 2 in the MAC right now. I'm excited for that matchup, so I'll be on the road Friday night. So unfortunately, no episode, but we will be getting back to the normal schedule. Thursday night, Friday pick show, Friday night, Friday recap, Saturday pick show. And then we're going to come at you Sunday night or Monday afternoon with some of Johnny's best content is the takes game. So we're going to get out of here. You can follow him at _JohnnyVTV. You can follow me at NoahB77_. You can follow the show at TC on SGPN. This has been the College Baseball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we are out of here.